Hey everyone, it's Pup Luca and welcome back to the Paw'dcast, and it's time for part 2.
Will Katya and Billie answer the question?
Will we ever make it through a full episode without going on a tangent?
Tune in this week and find out.
And welcome back to part 2 of QPHC. Welcome back, Katya and Billie.
I was not prepared for this at all. Hello and a woo. And again, I'll pass it to you.
Hello and a woo. And my favourite number is 4. Oh my god. Very typical us that we talk too much and we have to do a part 2. But very excited.
The first ever part 2, and part 1 happened on episode 10, so I think if there was ever going to be an episode for it, our 10th episode is definitely a good one. And welcome to episode 11. Why did you not go hello and a woo and I've got deja vu?
Okay, no, cancel this.
Great.
Take it back. No, podcast at the back. Not on. You tell me this now? Oh,
No, I just came up with it.
Hello and a woo, and I have deja vu.
No, this is a great time to have a double episode. So I think we'll get straight back into it with QPHC questions. And I can't wait for the 15 tangents we're going to go on in the first 5 minutes. So we talked about, like last week, is what made you enter, pup play means to you, the overlap between drag and pup play, and personal highlights. Let's go the complete opposite of that last one. I go, what was the most challenging part for you for QPHC?
Leaving my house.
That world.
No, it would have been singing live.
Yeah.
That was the most challenging thing that I think I did.
That was really cool to see you do that, though, because I haven't seen you do that before, and I've seen you perform a lot, and I was like, hey, look at you go.
It's because nobody can afford me to do it live. I'm like, you want me to sing? Pay me. No, that was really intimidating.
For those who weren't there and are listening to this, what did you sing?
I sung Mother Knows Best from the hit movie Tangled from Disney, but I changed up a lot of the lyrics to involve puppies and a little not suitable for work quote in that as well.
You did, and that was a line that you sung, getting kind of clumsy, and pointed right at me.
Well, to be fair, I pointed at the judges, which was sloppy, underdressed, immature, clumsy.
Yeah, which we all found hilarious. That was great. Yeah. Why was that challenging for you, personally, as someone who does sing?
It's a confidence thing.
Yeah.
Like, I barely sing as it is. Really depends on how I'm feeling in the mood, and if I'm, like, feeling a positive vibe from the audience, then I'll definitely have a sing. Like, because I do host karaoke. Sometimes I sing, sometimes I don't. Really depends on.
But it's more like you've had a few drinks. It's karaoke. It's a bit of fun. Yeah. It's not like you're proper
singing for a competition. I was like, oh my god, they're gonna fucking not press their buzzers and face the back and just not look at me throughout the entire
buzzers.
thing.
Can we have buzzers next year? Absolutely. Bailey's listening to this. Bailey.
No, absolutely not.
Buzzers.
I don't want to put the next.
No, not bad buzzers. Like, no, just like good buzzers. Like, if I'm really fucking like golden buzzer, skip this round, you're straight through to the final.
We don't dynamics of going to speeches.
That's kind of cute. You've won the golden bone this week.
No, we'll do talent before interviews next year, and it's like if you get the golden, you get to skip the interview.
Oh my god!
No, the interviews are the fun part.
No, I did love interviews. Billie, what about you? What was the most challenging part?
I think the cleaning up the Vegemite was like at least 4 makeup wipes worth of stuff. But no, the challenge.
Well, you did have a slice of bread to help you.
I did. My lovely girlfriend brought in a slice of bread, and it was fresh bread. Can I clear the rumours up now?
Oh, nice and soft.
It was from Brumby's that day.
Ooh,
so it felt
soft
and supple on my skin.
Billie is not sponsored by Brumby's, but if they would like to sponsor her.
Please, okay? Because I am from Rockhampton, so I am inbred. Come on, Rocky Pups.
That was good.
No, I think the most challenging part of the comp for me was always before I left the house. Like, it was always getting ready. So the day of the dynamics and speeches section, like my partner and I, Avery and I, did the dynamics, and we were like, absolutely cool, we've got this. This is fine. This is us just pupping out. But then I started rehearsing my speech at home in front of her, and she sort of sat on the couch, and I was like halfway through rehearsing my speech, and I like had to, first time in my life, I had a nervous vomit. Like I had to run to the bathroom. My stomach was churning. Like I was freaking out. I was having like a little panic attack. I've performed in drag in front of thousands of people on big stages and not even thought twice about it. And then a speech in a pup comp talking about something I love was like more nerve-wracking somehow. And I mentioned this to my mum after the comp, and I told my mother about this, and she's her answer, she's very sarcastic, and I love her. She's like, "Oh, what? Talking about your actual feelings and emotions, hey? Not hiding behind a mask." And I'm like, damn, like always, she's correct. But yeah, that was my hardest part.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. No tangents.
So the next question we did talk about during QPHC, and I know the question would have been brought up to you during the competition.
Oh, fuck, here we go.
So for our listeners to hear about it as well, how would you help someone come into the scene that's nervous too? Or like they've never been to a pup event before, how would you help them into the scene?
Blindfold them and kick them in a room.
Wow.
No. That is a really good question. Currently, what I'm doing, because I did mention it in the last episode that I've gotten a lot of inboxes and people wanting to come and experience the scene and asking me questions. The first thing I did to them, which they were going to, but no, if I say that, that's going to sound kind of offensive. She was just really wrecked after a really intense week of work. But she really wanted to come on the walk. But she wanted to come on the walk, and I said to them, "You can stay at the back with me, and we'll go on the walk together. And if you have any questions,
Yep.
we can walk and chat and just get you on the scene." Because I think the best nights to come along if you're nervous about being in like an intense, like close setting is either coming on the dinner and walkies or coming for a mosh. They're both the yes, you twist that nozzle so tight.
Okay, I was topping up our drinks trying to do it without anyone hearing. I was open that bottle so quietly, and you had to.
We called you out.
No, that was really good, but it was just the way that you were turning the nozzle on.
I was trying to do the plastic cap quietly so we wouldn't hear it on the back of the mic.
Yeah, but I was like, what is it, a dirty little bottle? You were like,
Anyway.
I would say, like, don't be afraid to reach out to, like, myself, any of the committee members or any of the current or previous title holders. If you have any questions and if you're nervous, or if you have a friend, bring a friend in who's interested. Or if you have friends in the community that are part of it, come with them. We're not going to bite unless you ask.
And nicely.
And nicely.
My answer for this, like, I think I quoted Nike in my interview. I was like, just do it.
I think you did.
Because it's so true, though. Like, the best way to go to your pup event, a first pup event, is to just do it. It
is scary.
It's terrifying. But it's the same thing that we were saying in last episode. You get in your own head about it not going well. Like, you create every situation of this not going to be good, this isn't going to work out. And then you do it and you're like, oh, that was actually the best time of my whole entire life. So you kind of have to, I don't know, as a person, when people come up to me about going to their first pup events, I am a little bit like, just do it. Like, I'm a little bit forceful with it, which is the only time I'm dominant because I know how much people are going to love it. You just got to get out of your own way for your first one. Because as soon as you break your hymen in on the first pup event, it's all, the rest is history. It's all gameplay from then on out in a social situation.
The complete opposite of that, though.
Yeah.
That, like, I'm the more, like, maternal one, like, oh, come on, I'll keep you safe. And you're just like, just fucking do it, love.
You two are
apparently
very
comes-
much opposites.
I'll
to
be
each
like,
other.
I will kick you down the stairs at Sporties for you to go to that mosh.
Next question, please.
One that actually got sent in to the podcast by someone.
Hey.
When we hinted at having an episode with you guys, someone messaged us, which was, what advice would you give someone who's thinking of competing next year?
Don't be shit.
That's your go-to advice for everything.
It's my go-to advice for everything.
Just after you face planted a door for SmackDown, you gave that advice.
I did, yes.
But no, on a serious note.
I would say just don't overthink it. I went into this completely like non-prepared whatsoever. For like, I prepared 4 different talent songs. I did not prepare my speech because I thought that if I rehearsed it, it would come across like I'm hosting a karaoke event. And I'm like, I didn't want it to come across non-personal. But I'd say go into it just doing what you want to present. Don't overthink everything about it, because what we're here to see is who you are as a person, what you do, how you are, and how you're a part of the community. It's nothing like... I'd say it's intense. It is an intense experience.
It's very
camping.
Emotionally draining.
Yes, it is like camping. It's very intense.
The 3 of us in a room is not a good idea.
How haven't there been more puns yet?
But I would say, yeah, if you're going to compete, just do it.
You've turned into this one now.
Just do it. Just do it. I think with all the people that I competed with, we've all gotten, because like you're a class of that year, and you end up bonding with your class on like a whole separate level because there's rope involved. Because we're all going through the same experience. So just remember, if you are wanting to compete, do it. But then also remember that there are so many other people that are competing with you that are in the exact same boat, feeling the exact same.
Yeah.
You can talk to each other. You can support each other. So
Yeah, you're doing this as a group.
yeah, it's you're a class. Like if one of
Regardless
us wins,
how
we
big
all
or small
win.
your class is.
Yeah,
Like my QPHC year, it was just myself and Bucky. There were 2 of us. But we'd known each other and we were kind of like friends.
Yeah.
And then after we spent like the 3 very intense days together, we now have a really good friendship behind it.
Yeah.
And even APHC, there was a class of 4 of us.
Mm-hmm.
And the 4 of us, we were all from different states. So we had like 2 WA, a Victoria, and Queensland. And I still chat to a lot of them. And we still message each other. You build that friendship. And it's not just unique to our comp, it's all comps. You will actually link with your class more.
That's so cute. That's something you don't expect from...
Yeah.
And that's something I took out of it that I didn't expect going into it, was how much closer you'd get with the people you know. Mm-hmm. And it's really cool to hear that even happened on a national level.
Yeah.
My advice, sticking with the theme where Katya and I always have opposite answers, do overthink it. No, that's what, like, I think depends on, like, the different sections. I think for the speech, absolutely overthink it was my thing. Like, I was like, absolutely. I wrote it down, and then I typed into Google how many... We have 3-minute limit, and I was like, how many words? Because I was at a drag gig and I couldn't say it out loud, but I was like, I couldn't do my pup speech about pup play and littling out and like this stuff. I couldn't say it while I was out the back of in a dressing room. But so I typed it down and I was like, oh, it's Google said there's 220 words or something in a 2-minute speech. And I had like 600. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've overwritten. But then when you practice it, you realize you talk really quickly. So it actually only went for 2.5 minutes. So it's like, I would say overthink it in the way of think about what you're doing well ahead of time and practice it to see how it goes. Like, mix your music as soon as you can. That was just my way of tackling it, because I'm always such a last minute person. So it was nice not to be super, super last minute and to try to organize it beforehand. I
love for your speech prep, you are very different to me.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will. They'll write down their speech, they'll rehearse it a few times, that kind of thing. I did the complete opposite. I wrote 3 dot points of like a few words and just went, that's it, done.
you did it like your mother.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I did.
I did that for both my competitions and my step down speech. I literally just, 3 dot points of the rough topics I want to talk about. And then I was like, I am better if I just go with it.
Yeah.
Because I can write a speech and I can rehearse it. But I know that in the moment, if I forget one little bit of a line, it's going to throw me and
Yeah.
I'm going to drop it.
Yeah.
So, like, I would say play to your best strengths. Like,
Yeah.
if you know that you are, like, you can remember things and you can structure it, definitely plan out
Do
your
that.
speech. But if you're, like, someone like Luca and I
You're worried
found it-
about you might forget or your brain will
I
wander.
found it better. So, like, I went
Yeah.
over my speech throughout the entire 2 weeks before the comp, and I basically picked the 3 things that I really wanted to talk about and what I care about, and then I just pressed play on my timer and then just constantly just kept talking, see what I could come up with. When I got
didn't
to
even
a
do that.
point where I was like, yes, I know that I can get to about the time limit that I wanted, I just kept going over it and over it again. But it changed each time. And my
Yeah.
final product was nothing like how I ended up rehearsing it. Half the shit I said on that mic, I'm like, that's permanently on video forever. Which I'm like, that's fantastic.
I mean,
I talked about sucking cock.
Did you?
Yes. I was like, don't mind me. I just changed my wig. I'm in my cock sucking hair because I put
Yeah.
my
You
husband
did.
through a lot.
You did. That was funny.
And then I was just like, I just want to give you everything. And like, that's what I really want to bring. Not the cock sucking, but like, I wanted it to be like flowy and stuff. So yeah,
Yeah.
I would say in that sense, like, follow advice when you get it. And we're all here to help you if you have questions about competing. And don't
Yep.
be afraid to reach out to not even just the winners, but reach out to the people who didn't make it to
Ask
that
people
point.
that have competed before.
Ask people who have competed
Yeah.
and actually went through the experience so that you can get both sides of what it was like to compete and then win and what it was like to compete and then lose. But like, I wouldn't even say it was losing. It was like
It's
seeing
not
a
losing.
fellow classmate.
And we say that a lot in all the comps. There's never a winner and losers.
No.
There is a class competing.
Yeah.
And one of you gets titled.
Yeah.
That's it.
So
But at the end of the day, you're always the class of that year.
exactly.
and we were a very unclassy class.
It was a chaotic class,
It was a
and
chaotic
I loved
class.
it.
It was so much fun.
Because
And I-
everyone brought such different
Everyone did so-
personalities.
so
Everyone was
much
so
different.
different. And when you think of pup play, you're like, oh, that's very similar. No.
It was awesome. And it
7
was so full of
contestants
love.
across 2 titles.
I think one more little bit of
Yeah.
advice if you are thinking about competing too. Remember, like for me, it was like throughout the prep work, I'd get super, super stressed. And then I'm like, hang on, what's my normal thing to like alleviate stress? It'd be like, get in pup space and pup out. So like, and then I think it was a 3-day comp in between after our talent rounds when it was just the dynamics and speeches to go. I was like, oh my God, I'm so stressed. I'm so stressed. And then I had a really good fuck that morning. And I wasn't so stressed anymore. So like, remember to do the things that make you non-stressed
Yeah.
throughout. Like, don't get addicted to the stress and be like, meh. Like, go and have some good sex if you like that.
And I know over like last week's episode and this week so far, we've talked about like what you've done in your speeches, what you've done in your talent rounds. What about your dynamics? Katya, share with us what you did for your dynamic rounds.
Mine was
Wearing my fucking shoes.
wearing your shoes. Yes, absolutely. Which we'll get them back at some point.
No, I won't. Your husband was wearing them when
No,
I
I
last saw
know.
him.
I'm actually thinking about wrapping them up and giving it back to you for Christmas.
My boots that I lost 2.5 years ago.
Yes. What did I do? So I've mentioned out through so many different episodes that like how my handler space I feel is really different to a lot of the other handlers that are currently on the scene. I would love to see more handlers like myself. So like I focus on aftercare and maternal and more positive affirmation from pubs. I'm not commending one. But how I wanted to do my dynamic is that I wanted to prove that all the pups in the scene are going to get a mother whether they like it or not. And this is an example of my parenting. And I read a little bedtime story to my pup Hemlock, and he came out in a onesie with a blanket, and I put him to sleep. And the book is called Go the Fuck to Sleep. And it just goes about different situations and trying to get your bratty son to go the fuck to sleep, but failing. So it was more of a comedic approach to a handler space because I know that there aren't just obedient pups. There are chaotic pups. There are service pups. There are all these different types of pups in the scene that I'm kind of learning how to navigate parenting all of them. So it was like focusing with him, I was just like, because my pup is a little bit of a brat sometimes. But then I've got other pups who are like really submissive when I'm like, no, don't do that. Or like, come here, let's come sit with mother and stuff. So yeah, it was my dynamic was motherly. And I would say I think it was funny. Like, I enjoyed it. I had a great time up there.
It was very funny. And that's the best thing for dynamic rounds is have fun with it.
Yeah, and I had a blast. I came out with like an invisible lead with a collar attached to it. And I was like, hi, everyone, this is my pup. And he's not on the leash. And I was like, for fuck's sake, kid. Because that's always happens. When you're trying to put a kid to sleep, they're never in the room where you want them to be. They'll be off gallivanting somewhere else. So like, I came out with that, and then I went and grabbed him. I kicked him in the ass, and I said, "Get on that stage, you go in the fuck to sleep." And then and I made it more personal. So which is a theme for all of my experiences to the cob, is that I changed everything that was in that book. So like there were some that were normal in the book.
Go cruising.
Yeah, I was like, no, you can't go cruising. You know where you can go? The fuck to sleep. Or when I mentioned the fact that Hemlock won Queensland Leather Boy, I was like, how come you can win Queensland Leather Boy, but you still can't go the fuck to sleep?
Yeah.
Like, I made it
That
personal
one got the room
to
really,
him
yeah.
and his experiences. So, like, yeah, mine was like a personal connection with my pup and showing how our relationship is. But then also, like, what the other pups should be prepared for is that my mothering is a little bit intense. But I do care.
Yeah. And Billy, what about your dynamic round?
My dynamic, it was by far my favorite section of the whole entire competition because I just got to show off what I do in pup play at home, because I think a lot of pups and a lot of people had just like seen me at moshes and seen me at events, but there's a lot to my pup play that goes on just at home and in my everyday life. And I did it with my lovely girlfriend Avery, and she taught me a lot about my little side and about our little play and our little space that we combined with pup play when we're feeling extra stressed. And I remember I went up to her when I first entered the comp. I said, "Will you please do my dynamic section with me?" And she's such a shy person who doesn't like getting in front of people. And she's like, "Well, yes, absolutely, because I will regret it if I don't." And then I'm like, "Will you get up on the sporty stage in front of people in a diaper and lil out with me?" And her reaction was like, "Whoa!" Like, like she was like, "Oh, I've already committed. I've already said yes." But like,
Because that is a side that definitely overlaps into pup play a lot, but people don't talk about or don't think about.
and there is like, after I did that, like, my experience with little play has been with my partner and I at home. Like, we pat each other out. We sometimes take turns at who gets to be the big, who gets to be mum and the other person. But a lot of our times it's two littles together, like, and it's just us being cozy, being warm and comfy, and like just slipping out of adult life for a bit. And then you combine it with pup space and you're like, oh, wow. Chef's kiss, beautiful combination. So it was, it was cool showing that side on stage and being unapologetically happy about it. And then afterwards, the amount of Meange and the amount of Brisbane like littles that have talked to me or I've talked to and connected with now. And I'm like, holy moly, there's a lot of us out there. There's a big little community out there. And that's really cool. So, yeah, dynamic was definitely my favorite. And I get to say that I was padded in a little diaper on stage with my girlfriend having the time of my life. And it was really cute and really fun.
Amazing. We're slowly coming towards the end. We've got a few minutes left. Let's end with just something stupid. Tell us your favourite joke. And Katya's going to go first because Hannah's always goes first. But before you tell us your joke, one that is appropriate for the podcast.
That's why I'm like sitting here with like a Pikachu expression, because none of my humor is appropriate for public spaces.
No. Or you just tell a joke and we'll see if whether you guys hear the joke or whether
What's a funny...
you hear some silence for a few seconds.
Favorite joke?
Yeah.
All of them are.
There's a mirror over there.
Oh yeah, just let me go look. Who is that girl I
Billy's
see?
gone from sitting very comfortably to like on her knees, like pumping up, going like, I'm ready. I've got so many jokes. I'm ready.
Yeah, do you want to go first? Because like I have none.
Absolutely.
Because all of mine are really problematic. So
Cool. We'll go Billy. What's your
Yeah.
favorite joke?
I always mess this one up. Hang on. This was a joke that I got told at a service station. And it was, how old is Chris Hemsworth turning at his next birthday? He's
How old?
turning 5 because he was Thor and now he's 5. But I always forget whether it's Chris or Liam Hemsworth who played
No,
Thor.
it was Chris.
It was Chris?
It
Cool.
was Chris.
Well, I nailed that joke and that's beautiful. So, killed it. Katya, your joke. She's so funny, but then you put her on the spot.
Yeah.
it's more of like all of like. I made a joke about bamboo earlier, but like
No,
because
you can't
that
say that
bamboo
one.
is
No,
yeah,
no,
like
no.
most of my humor is
say the line.
which one?
When we were cooking.
Can I say that on here?
We'll find
We'll
out.
find out. So during the QPHC experience, while I was cooking in the kitchen with the lovely Billy, we were sitting there and we were asking people.
There was bagels.
There were bagels, and the bagels, there was seated and there was non-seated. And I can't remember if it was me that turned around and I went, sovereignty was never seated, but I definitely am, when asking for a recipe for the bagel. So I don't know if that's problematic, but that was that. Oh, I can say it because I'm brown. But yeah, no. We made that one was my favorite joke during that season.
That season.
That season.
And now it's online for everyone to hear.
Well, I'm actually going to get that in one of these little necklaces.
Yeah,
I'm going to
that's
get that
cute.
on the back, and it's going to be engraved in iron and placed on my body forever. All alone in the no, that would be
Not pups doing cats.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Maybe next year, maybe for next year's comp, we
Make 'em
need
do a group
like
number.
make them do a group number. Like if it's a because could you imagine the class from this year? Like could you
If we did a
imagine
group number?
like
That would be like you open
like
the talent
you,
show doing a group number.
Twitch, Bucky, Boomer, myself, Benji, AJ.
But a pup version
Like-
cats, though?
Yeah, could you imagine us doing a whole production show together?
Chaos.
Unhinged.
We're taking bookings now.
But you only really get put together. You only find out who you're competing with like 2 weeks before the comp.
Yeah.
Was it 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 weeks before the comp, contestants
Jesus,
gets
yeah.
announced.
Unless you
and
talk
then-
to the people who are competing, and they're like, "Are you
Yes.
competing?" And they're like, "Yeah, no, I am."
There's a lot of speculation around it. It's not really hidden.
Yeah.
The only thing that is a full surprise is to judges. You don't know until like
Yeah.
5 days
Yeah.
before when they get announced online. The day that the public find out is the day the contestants find out at exactly the same moment.
To be fair, though, I knew pretty much all the pups that were competing. Did not know the other handler until
No, the
day
pups
of.
were very vocal about whether they wanted to compete.
Yeah, because like that's a really hard experience, like with being a handler in this scene, like especially in Mansion, is that there is a plethora of pups, but there aren't many handlers that are active
Yeah.
on the scene anymore, and not as much as they used to be. So if you are interested in handling some things, give me a call.
I was gonna say one thing leading back,
drfeelgood.com.au.
leading back to what you guys said in the comp, keeping it short and sweet, just one thing you're going to do with your title year.
The one thing that I want to focus on is creating a safety network for pup play and handlers through all the venues that we visit, or even don't visit. That there are people around the community that know that if there are pups there, they know exactly what to do and keep them safe.
Yep.
Just a safety network.
Cool. Billy, what's one thing you want to do?
Can I just quickly 3-point list off because I have 3 things
Yes,
that
go for it.
are my absolute goals this year. It's 1, host a trans picnic, very casual, and talk to trans kinksters in our community about what we want to see in our spaces. Host a pup crawl, where we just get a little bit leery and go from pub to pub. And then 3, I just want to publish some of our stories online.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Keep an eye when these projects happen. We're definitely going to share it on the podcast pages and across us. You can find me online at Pup Luca QLD. Katya, where can we find you? Instagram.
Fuck, what's my Instagram?
Like Katya.Lou-king or something?
I think. Katya.Lou-king.
Or
What's your Twitter?
Katya.Lou-king. I think that's it. I don't think... Do I have... What else do I have? Oh, you can also... yeah, I totally forgot about that. Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram and Facebook, Twitter and YouTube as Katya Lou-king. If you want to get to know more of my pup side, it is Alpha Centauri. And
we'll
that's
put the links below.
APHLASENTARI. Double I.
Oh, double I.
I'm pretty sure I put a double I there. Could be wrong.
And Billy, where can we find you?
I'm on Insta as Billy the Pup. And I need to change my Twitter, so just message me for that because it's under my dead name. But you can see more of me there.
Cool. We're going to wrap up this episode going back to the usual way because we took a break last week by leaving you on an intense cliffhanger by doing our usual tagline. Now, I've written a little script here. We're going to take it in turns saying lines, but we're going to end with both of you doing the Luca honk.
Okay.
At the same time into the same mic.
Oh,
but
wait,
we're
hold
going
on,
to share
can
some
we-
lines to start with.
Okay, yep.
Okay, here we go. Be kind
Be camp.
Be kinky.
and always... It was kind of like the honk mixed with the Teletubby.
What happens when you fuck a Teletubby?
That's when you pull out too far.
Oh, too good, too good. Thanks for listening.
Bye.